ready.
3,
I'm ready.
2,
I'm ready.
going live. And we're live.
Are we live?
We're live.
Oh shit! Did we post this on IG or no?
I mean, not yet.
What happened?
If you do, I'm gonna repost.
You won't.
Yeah.
Shit.
How'd you sleep last night? By the way, I know you mentioned like I just want to know how that bed treated you after your 100,000 steps.
It treated me great, but it took me a while to even get into it in the first place because after doing the 50 miles of walking and walking for 16 hours, I had to sleep in a recliner for a little while, and then my legs felt a little bit better and stuff like that. It felt like if I laid down all the way, especially with the 8 sleep mattress, that I would have just conked out, and then I don't know how easy it would be for me to get out of bed if I needed to use the bathroom and stuff like that. So I stayed in a recliner for a bit, fueled up, kept eating and drinking water and things like that, and then went to sleep and slept great.
Yeah.
You know, you got that temperature, the temperature control. The room is kind of cool. The bed itself is kind of cool because of the 8 sleep mattress, and then you get that kind of warm pocket with the blanket over top. Just right.
Yeah. The 8 sleep mattress is really cool because like you just mentioned, the temperature can be as low as 55 degrees. Okay, and it's better to sleep cooler. But when it gets cold, it can go up to as high as 110 degrees, right?
My wife gets to select whatever temperature she wants to sleep with too. So I mean, she usually isn't as hot as I am in the middle of the night, so she can have her temperature be higher.
And no matter what, this is the thing. 8 Sleep's technology. The big thing is the technology. So if you go to their website, and let's say you have a great mattress that you already enjoy, you can just get the cover. You can get the mattress cover, and you can place that on your bed, and you can get all the benefits of the 8 Sleep temperature control. Number one, it can also track your heart rate. It tracks how much you move during the night. It's a lot of technology that's built into this mattress. So you guys really want to check that out because we talk about sleep all the time, and 8 Sleep has you covered.
Yeah, and I was actually a little skeptical about like the temperature change because I obviously I don't know what the heck is involved with this technology. Well, my wife will have hers set at her temperature, and then if she tries to creep over a little bit too much, she's like, "Jesus, like your side is cold." I'm like, "Yeah, like this feels nice." Yeah, and it is cool because like it does have a setting where you can be like, you take control of the temperature, and it does a pretty good job. Although lately I've been like, we got to tone it down. Like I had to cool mine off even more. But no, it's amazing. And like I've said in the previous podcast, having the bed wake me up has been so freaking nice. It doesn't, it's not like an alarm clock that's gonna like, jolt you awake. It doesn't freak you out. You're just like, hey, is that the, and then you just going around your head and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's time to get up. So it's amazing. And like Nsima said, they have the Pod Pro mattress and cover, or they have just the cover that you can use on your fancy mattress the way like Mark has right now. And you can get $150 off of each one by simply just going to 8sleep.com. So it's 8 spelled out, EIGHT sleep.com/power project. And you'll see right at the top, it'll say automatically receive $150 off by going through that link. And like Nsima said, the technology is insane. It's amazing. We love it. It's one of my most prized items in my whole house. Again, 8sleep.com/power project. Links to them down in the description. And if you're on the iTunes side, check the show notes because you'll see the link down there as well. Head over there. Highly recommend it.
And honestly, I would say my favorite part about this, for all of you guys who are couples, husbands and wives, or, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, I am a hot individual as far as temperature when I sleep. So always, whenever I would cuddle, I would just, it would turn into a sweaty mess, and then the cuddling was ruined.
Get away from me.
Yeah, but because the mattress is cool, I can cuddle and I'm not sweating, and it's just it's nice.
I love it when we cuddle.
Yeah, it's so much nicer.
We couldn't do that before.
There's no sweaty cuddling.
Does your dog try to jump in there?
I don't let that man in my bed. He sheds everywhere. He does not allow in my room. He's allowed in the room, but he's not allowed on the bed.
He's probably so sad. He probably just wants to snuggle.
He loves to snuggle, but his fur is infuriating. I love him. He's
the worst.
He's so majestic. I'm so happy I have him. He brings me so much happiness.
He's not allowed in your bed.
No fucking way.
It's just like all our dogs are not allowed, but they all figure out a way how to get there by the morning. I was like, what? Fucker. And then they get mad at me when I kick them out. Like, yeah, it's not good. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man.
Anyway, what's up, fellas?
What's happening? That was a long walk. I
Yeah.
mean, not compared to your walk, but
Yeah.
when we started going, I was like, are we going the short route? And we're going the long route. All right, cool. And then Nsima, of course, had somebody hollering at him.
Yeah, the long route is going to become the short route soon enough.
Okay.
Wait, what?
That at the gas station.
That was funny.
Mhm.
Do y'all walk this way every day?
She seemed pretty excited.
Well, we were all shirtless, so you know,
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty funny. Yeah,
Can I get a hey now?
She was probably looking.
we got catcalled, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're
that's-
not just pieces of meat.
It's
No,
gonna-
We have feelings.
we do.
She hurt just about every last one of them.
Nah, she made us feel good.
She did
Nah,
make
that's
us feel
great.
good. She's like, I'm gonna come here at the same time every day just to see you. That was great.
Yeah, now we got to set our alarm
Mm-hmm.
to get out there on time.
Yeah.
Oh my
All right. Well, today we're jumping into talking about trying to diversify your interest in something that I have learned and kind of seen over the years. I was very, very much into powerlifting, and I was very committed to it. I put everything I had into it, but I also kind of saw the writing on the wall, and I saw that there was a lot of individuals that just only poured their heart and soul into powerlifting. And then they realized that powerlifting is just a sport and that it doesn't really actually care about you as much as you care about it. It's just a thing that you do, and it's not necessarily who you are. And so in recognizing that, I was like, man, there's a lot of these kind of older lifters around who are broken, and even some of the younger guys who just get hurt. They don't really end up with much. And I can think of a bunch of them off the top of my head that are unfortunately, they were idols of mine and people I really looked up to, and I still admire their accomplishments in powerlifting, but they didn't end up really walking away with much. They didn't really appear to retain much. And that's just my own opinion. Maybe I'm sure they feel different. I'm sure they feel great about some of the stuff they did and some of the stuff they're doing, but I've always like, man, like this guy squatted 900 pounds, or this guy deadlifted 800 when he was a teenager, and like, what's he kind of doing now, type thing. And it just didn't seem like they were able to capitalize or really do much later on, really able to pivot. And what I saw was people trying to make the pivot when it's too late. People trying to, the reason why I started this podcast so long ago was because I knew there was going to be a day where I wasn't going to be able to lift the weights that I lifted. I'm not Larry Wheels. I'm not going to be able to like put on these demonstrations that millions of people are interested in just because of my strength and just because of my physique or build. I did have some lifts back in the day that were fairly impressive, but I knew that was going to be short-lived. So I've always been kind of looking for other things to do. I've always kind of had my eye on different things. And when I was a power lifter, I was also a coach. I was also I coached high school football. I was coaching people in powerlifting. I was doing seminars with CrossFit. And so even though most of those things are still in the strength realm, at least they were some sort of different expressions of what I knew. And then on top of that, I recognized, hey, the most important job I have is to be a husband to my wife, Andy, and also to be a dad to my children. And so you can get lost in this shit really easy, especially when you're trying to be good or trying to be great at something. And you could be leaning towards that so hard that you end up unbalanced. And I certainly have done that a couple of times, but at least I was conscious of it. I saw other people, they didn't seem like they were conscious of it. And it seemed like they kind of buried themselves in this kind of hole of just powerlifting, and just everything mattered so much on that lift and that number. And ultimately, at some point, no one's going to care. And at some point, you might not even really care, because there's going to be a point where the most weight you ever lifted was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. You just might not care about that physical feat anymore. You'll probably, most likely, I hope that you'll have a lot of other interests and you'll be proud of yourself in something else. So I'm really excited at 44, going on 45, that I get to like rewrite the next couple chapters of my life to where somebody that starts to see me on TikTok or something and be like, oh, that's that guy that runs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or didn't that guy like invent something?
Mm,
Like they don't even know that I power lifted. Like that's kind of
shit.
cool,
I
you know?
didn't even think
So,
about that.
trying to diversify your interests and have other things. But for me, it was massively important. And maybe people will find some utility in this is to start to think about making the pivot before you're like forced to. Because luckily for me, I started kind of thinking about these things. I had Power Magazine, I had the slingshot going already when I fell and had a kind of a career ender in a squat. Luckily, I was already kind of like investigating a lot of these things. Otherwise, I would kind of just be another number. I'd be another person in powerlifting that hit some pretty big lifts, and that would have been that.
It's what I find really interesting about like you and what you've done is that when you started making the switch, I'd see comments all the time on like Instagram stuff, on YouTube stuff, like we want the old smelly back, we want the powerlifting smelly back, bring back fat smelly, bring that back. Whereas, you know, I think a lot of times those individuals are still themselves super focused on powerlifting. Like that's their thing too. So they look to you for that. But it's let me ask you this. When you were making that transition, did that affect you at all negatively? Like, because I know that when I stopped, I guess, putting out as much bodybuilding stuff and people started to really just, they didn't like the jujitsu stuff. And like the people, like I was getting unfollowed because of the jujitsu stuff. It was just what I was interested in. So I'm just curious, like, how that affected you. Like, did you ever feel like, maybe I should just go back to this a little bit because people like me for that, or that's the identity people see me as?
That, and then also even like as a company, right? You make powerlifting gear. So like, did anything impact some of that decision making? Or, I mean, obviously you made the choice, but like, did any of it kind of make you step back and be like, oh shit, like, can I even do this? Like, not that you're ever gonna look for anyone's like approval or anything like that, but you're like, shit, am I even allowed to do this type of thing?
I ended up gaining a lot of confidence by, creating the slingshot was a big deal because I had people tell me that that wasn't a good idea. And then not only was it a good idea, but it was a life-altering product that not only changed my life forever and helped for me to gain access to a lot of like financial freedom and to be able to provide for others, but it also helped a lot of other people, like people that were buying the product. They like legitimately got a lot of help from it, and that was the initial reason to make the product in the first place. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna have this cool thing I'm gonna be able to monetize. Yeah, of course, like I was thinking like there needs to be a profit margin, but I wasn't really thinking about having an entire company. But once I made that, I was like, I can build other stuff around this and actually make it an entire company, because if you're going to be bench pressing more weight, you're going to be handling more weight, you might as well have wrist wraps on. And then I was like, well, it'd be really cool if over the next 10 years I can figure out how to kind of cover people head to toe. Maybe come up with a shoe, and I did that with Reebok, and maybe have knee sleeves and knee wraps and belts and so forth. And it turned into what it turned into. But my point is that I don't mind standing alone for a while, and I don't mind being like ridiculed for a while, and I don't mind having like an awkward phase, like when you're a teenager and you're a little weird and like you don't want to go with mom to like your uncle's house or whatever because you just look weird, feel weird. People are asking you, oh, 6th grade or whatever. Like the whole thing is just fucking awkward. Your feet are all big and you haven't like, your body hasn't grown into all these, you got, acne or whatever. Your voice is weird. I don't know. It's a weird thing. For me, like, I don't mind being in these like transitional phases, like when I was trying to lose weight for powerlifting, I was always kind of thinking like, I'm not just going to like lose weight and be someone that like just looks healthier. Like I'm going to be fucking jacked.
Yeah.
I want to do like a photo shoot. I want to kind of like, so my focus switched, but it was like, let's still keep this at a high level. Let's still keep this like being something really, really cool. And I remember getting down to like I got down to like 245, and I remember it was probably like kind of the strongest I ever been. I got down to about 245, and I benched 500 for like a set of 3. Ooh. So it was double body weight bench press for a triple, and it was really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just remember like kind of hitting that stride, and I was like, this is kind of the coolest thing I've ever done. Like I've done bigger lifts. People have seen these other things. I've won some pretty big competitions and stuff, but this kind of like in gym lift that I just did, like, and if you see the video of it, it's like I look fucking jacked in it. So I'm pretty proud of that. I was like, that's a pretty cool accomplishment, especially coming from being so fat, you know, and losing all that body weight, maintaining that strength, looking not like a bodybuilder, but looking lean and looking, what I would consider to be fairly impressive. And so, you know, taking some of the ridicule of like, oh, you know, you're not a power lifter anymore. Or like, there was a lot of stuff about monetizing. People were like, oh, why do you want to make money? And like, just, my dad is like a financial consultant, and my dad has kind of always explained to me like, this is like, he was just like, this stuff's like ridiculous. Like, it's everyone's goal to make money. Mm-hmm. The whole reason why people go to college is to try to help secure a future that assists them to make more money. Yeah. He's like, in your case, you didn't need to go. You figured out something different, and people will be pissed about that. So I just kind of I had to ignore it, I guess. And going back to not allowing the stuff to define you, that was important, because my value assignment to powerlifting wasn't that high. Mm-hmm. I power lifted. I was a power lifter, but I wasn't defined as that. That was my only thing. Mm. So somebody said, all you're trying to do is make money. I'm thinking to myself, like, I just took my kid to the mall. You know, like, we're just chilling. Like, I'm not trying to do anything. Like, yeah, I'm just trying to be a fucking dad. I just took the fucking garbage out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting over here doing humble ass shit with my family, with my kids, you know, that kind of thing. So as much as people want to try to make you to be out something that you're not, I have had a decent ability in understanding who I think I am to myself, and that's the most important thing, I think.
I agree with you there. It's interesting because, like, when I started doing stuff on social media, it was all based off of, like, bodybuilding stuff, and I started doing some powerlifting stuff too. But in the back of my head, I was like, I don't want to be doing shows until I'm 50 or 40, and like, powerlifting is cool, but I don't want to be competing in this, like because you compete, and then you're back on the road of just increasing those numbers, and you compete again. I was like, I don't see myself enjoying competing at that age. What I really enjoy is being able to move my body well and feel really good every day. And I like to constantly just be in shape. When I was 270, I didn't feel like walking around. Like, I didn't feel like when I played soccer, where I was just like running around. I felt great. I wanted that back. So when I started doing jiu-jitsu, even though I sucked, like, and that's the awkward phase thing that you mentioned, I think it's a big barrier for some people, because, you know, if someone's an athlete, or maybe they define themselves as, I'm a power lifter or I'm a bodybuilder, and that's the thing that they do, it's hard to kind of move away from that into something else, even though you know that in the long run, that thing might be something that brings you a high level of enjoyment. Like, I knew that when I saw jiu-jitsu for the first time and saw the way those people moved, you know, I was like, I want to be able to be that flexible. I want to be able to be that mobile. I want to be able to move my body in those unhinged ways. And I know I can do that for a long time, even if it's just training and coming in and training that. I know I can do that for a long time. So, you know, even though I still enjoy training in the gym, and that's something I'm going to do forever, I still enjoy bodybuilding style training, strength style training, and jiu-jitsu stuff. It's all stuff that has the big goal of me being able to move better. And that goal of me moving better is something that I can do forever, you know, and that, like, and it's not an identity thing. It's just like, I will be, when I'm 60, I'm going to just be doing some cool shit. I'm going to be able to run upstairs. I'm going to be able to squat some weight. I'm going to be able to tap people out. And it's longevity, you know?
You'll be uncommon amongst, uncommon people, even when you're around, someone in jiu-jitsu who's at a really high level. Not that you're trying to like size yourself up against everybody all the time, but that's kind of what we do. We kind of, we go next to you pee in a trough, and like that's kind of what happens, right? Like it's always a dick measuring contest. That's kind of life, that's kind of what it is. And sometimes you're like, well, that guy may have figured out some things better than me, but I figured out a couple of things better than him too. It's not, you don't want to be in that phase all the time where you're always comparing everything all the time, but it feels good just to kind of know, just kind of, I guess, get an idea of where you're at. And for me, it's always felt good to diversify stuff and not just be a knucklehead, not just be a meathead, not just somebody that's in the gym. When somebody starts, if somebody starts talking about something at a party, like it's kind of nice to be able to jump in and say, oh, actually, here's what I think. And they go, oh shit, like, I know this big ass dude's like paying attention to what's going on in the world, it's kind of cool. Or somebody brings up a book and you're like, oh yeah, I know that dude. Oh yeah, Jordan Peterson. Yeah. The 12 Rules of Life. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Like I dig that shit too. And then you start getting into some sort of philosophical talk, and it's just, to me, it's like fun, and for you, it could be something else. But, I remember years ago when super training was predominantly all powerlifting, like if someone came in and started stretching or something, or somebody came in wearing tights, somebody came in like stretching or something, we would make fun of them, right? But you don't switch what you're doing just because someone's making fun of you. Hey, what is this, yoga class? What are you doing,
Nsima with his, was it Virus?
Like Virus legging.
Yeah.
He's got the legs, though.
Yeah,
you got to give the guy credit.
If I had those legs, they'd be super skin tight.
I remember Juan was looking at me one day.
God, of all people, too.
He's like, what the fuck are you wearing, man? I'm like, these are my leggings. He's like, you shouldn't wear that. Juan, I fucking love Juan.
So, Mark, you have inspired maybe millions of people with how committed you were to powerlifting, the numbers you put up. So I'm sure there are people that are like, I'm gonna go all in just like Mark did, and just fucking whatever. Sorry, I'm forgetting. I'd rather die. I'm
rather be dead than average.
Rather be dead than average. My bad.
You
Sorry,
fail this test.
I know. Sorry, Mad Dog. But what does, I guess, how successful is Mark Bell if he never steps away from powerlifting? And when I say step away, I don't mean you're still powerlifting, but as far as like the competitive Mark Bell, and still going 100% all in on powerlifting, are we here? Like, is everything look a little bit different, or is it more the same?
Well, I think the fact that I was always exploring stuff is kind of what led us here. That walk that I did yesterday, 50 miles, and it taken 16 hours and shit like that. I mean, people that worked out here a long time ago, something like that wouldn't surprise them, because they'd be like, yeah, I've seen Mark work out for like 4 or 5 hours, just straight, because like he was trying to figure out a bench shirt or technique or whatever. Like I remember having workouts where I would put on a bench shirt, I'd work up to like 700 pounds, something didn't feel right, and I'd put on a different one. And I would go again. I'd start, all the way from the bottom. I'd start with 135, work my way back up. And I was like, something's off. Try another one, or try a different set rep range, try bands, try chains, try all these different things. And be like, okay, well, there we go. I think I maybe I got it, And everything's kind of always been, regardless of how long it takes. It just, for me, it would take me a certain amount of time to be good or be great at something, and it didn't matter how long it took, because I'm not trying to compare it against time. I'm just trying to get better, and it didn't matter if it took me 4 minutes or 4 hours or 4 days or 4 years. I would figure out a way to stick to it. So some of that, trying to tweak and change things to continue to get better, is part of what led us here. But I think if I would have just been focused on just powerlifting, and I wasn't focused on, like, I kind of always thought that there was better ways to do stuff. I always thought I was always kind of thinking with a product, I guess, like, in mind. Like, there's still so many different ideas and products and inventions that I have that I've just, some of them I won't ever probably be able to get to. I don't know. There's like a lot of them in my fat head. So my mind has been that way for a long time. And I think that I think that if I predominantly just stuck to powerlifting and I was all in on just powerlifting, and that was, I don't think any of this stuff would have happened. You know, I don't think any of this stuff would, even though some of the exploration of what I was doing is kind of part of this. I think I would be, I think I would just be another guy going to powerlifting meets, you know, in his 40s or 50s, where you're like, does this guy know it's over?
Yeah, you see that. You see
That would be
bodybuilding too.
that would be me. Like Nsima or someone would come to a meet and be like, "That's cool. This guy's been doing it for a long time." But like, I don't want that to be me.
Yeah.
You know. Instead, I think I'm moving on to stuff where people that are my age are like, I wouldn't mind being like him. You know. But if I was still trying to lift and I'm a shadow of myself and can't really lift the same weights, or I'm still really fat and unhealthy, it's like, I don't know. I don't think that's cool. Maybe other people do, but that's not my idea of fun.
Yeah, and you see old pro athletes. I know, like, first off, to become a professional athlete in anything, there needs to be a specific interest. There needs to be a focus on what you're doing so that you can get to that level. There's a focus so you can be able to squat the amount of weight, bench the amount of weight you need to do. You have to do those 4-hour workouts. But if you don't have anything else outside of that, first off, if you don't have anything else outside, it's hard to walk away, or it's hard to back off because you have nothing else. You have nothing else that you're interested in, because you don't have to be good at something to start it, right? Like, you're starting jiu-jitsu. When I started jiu-jitsu, I sucked. Right now, you're seeing like how it doesn't make sense, but you're starting it because you're interested in it, and you know that 5 years down the road, you're going to be marking some cats, right? But that's the thing. I think that you need to find things outside of whatever it is you're currently doing, because you got to think about, if this thing is taken away from me, what do I have? What do I have that still keeps me in the game? The thing that I think about is, what is going to allow me to stay in shape and stay fit forever without feeling like I'm trying? You know, I think that was the big thing for me. Like, and that's why currently I don't feel like I'm trying with any of this stuff. I don't feel like it's something that's stressful for me, because all of it is just the normal day to day. And I can see, you know, whatever point I have a family and kids and I have to be drawn away as far as time from the current athletic focuses, right? I can still see myself being in amazing shape because I still have all these habits and these things that I do every day, that as long as that's maintained, I will be in shape until the day that I die. If for some reason I can't lift anymore, which would be weird, I still have something that I can do to stay healthy and in shape, and I'm interested in that. I like walking.
Yep.
Right. A lot of lifters, if you just pick up the habit of liking to walk, and that just becomes one of your day-to-day things, if there comes a time that you, for some reason, you can't lift for a little bit because you have some weird injury, walking can be something amazing that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, what if you burn just a couple hundred calories every day? I mean, you start to add that up over the course of the week, you know, over the course of 2 weeks, over the course of a month. I mean, over the course of the month, could be 3,500 calories, could be, you know, depending on how far you're walking, how much you're walking. But the point is it's going to add up, and it's going to allow you to have errors in your diet. It's going to allow you to occasionally maybe miss a day of training where you really wanted to train, or you twisted your ankle doing something and you just couldn't get to the gym, or whatever it is that happened. If you can maintain that, if you can maintain something that you like to do, you don't have to really be as concerned. The other thing is, like, I think it's important to keep your eye on other things, because you never know when the skill set's going to really help you out of a situation. You never know when like learning how to use the rower or learning how to use a Aerodyne bike or learning how to do burpees or kettlebell snatches. You never know you never know when it's going to be a thing that can do a lot more for you than you can possibly imagine or think. You don't know when the skill set of learning how to punch a punching bag is going to really benefit you. But how many people, when we were faced with the situation we were faced with where all the gyms closed down, I saw Jason Kalipa, I saw yourself, I saw other people like, oh, it's a kettlebell workout, you know? And had you not already developed that skill or already had some of that interest, you might look at the kettlebell that's in your garage or the offer that your friend has to say, oh, you could borrow my kettlebells. And you might not ever do it because you're like, I don't really know what to do with those. And, but again, you know, it's like for me, like during that time period is when I started to run a little bit more because I was already pursuing some running.
Yeah.
I had like weighted vests and a couple other things where it was like, it's just going to be a real simple shift. I'm not going to miss training days. Remember we worked out twice a day for like a month.
Yeah.
We were doing that for a while.
Crushed.
And we were doing push-ups and squats and stuff, but it's only because if we didn't already develop a skill set of knowing how to exercise, none of us would have done that. We would have been like, nah, man, we're going to chill and just order some DoorDash and get fatter and fatter, right? But instead, we wanted to pursue something because we already had an interest in it, and it was very easy for us to shift because we had some skill sets and had some understanding of exercise already.
I know the one reason why a lot of people don't start those new things is because they're afraid of how bad they're going to be, or they're afraid of the judgment that they're going to get. Even when it comes to something as easy, well, it's not necessarily super easy, but stepping into a gym for the first time, a lot of people are like, you know what, I feel like I'm going to be judged. People are going to stare at me. People are going to do this and that. When in reality, okay, number one, you got to come to the terms with you will suck. But number two, if it's an outside thing, if it's about other people really don't care about what you're doing. Like in a jiu-jitsu gym or in a jiu-jitsu school, like when I started that, people were super nice. All people wanted to do, all the upper belts wanted to do was show me how to do things right and teach me how to do it correctly because they knew how difficult it was to stick with it. So they wanted to be of benefit. I think that's how it is with a lot of gyms.
It goes beyond just the session itself. A lot of times you get somebody else's number and they're like, oh, let me text you some videos. I'm going to send you a YouTube thing. Or then they're saying, hey, remember when you went for this today? And it's like the instruction goes well beyond just, it's way different than what you would think. You know, it's not, I think that people think when they're going to try to go do something like, I'm going to go to yoga class, and you're like, great, I'm going to be the like big dude in there that they're going to think is just going to be, you know, doing protein farts the whole time, which might be true.
I was going to say,
it may happen a little bit here because sometimes those stretches get you some
open that tank.
Compromising positions. But you think that people in there are going to laugh at you or whatever, and it's like it's usually pretty dark. Like no one fucking cares. They're doing their own thing. They're in their own world. And it's nothing like you think. And a lot of times the instructor's super nice and the people there are super nice. So while it is not easy to get started, it is the one common thing amongst anyone who's great at anything is that they must have started at some point. They must have started somehow, and they probably weren't embarrassed enough to not do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't currently be doing it, or they would have never been good or great at it now.
5 years isn't a long time.
No.
I know that maybe for some people thinking about a 5-year transition or like a 5-year timeline might seem long, but you know, when you think about how you're going to look and how you're going to do with something 5 years down the road, you're going to be proficient. Right? Whether it's an instrument, whether it's, learning how to use a kettlebell, whether it's starting working out in the gym, whether it's starting a martial art, whatever that martial art may be, boxing, jiu-jitsu, whatever. 5 years down the road, people are going to be like, oh, damn, you do that and you do, what the fuck? That's how it is with doing any new skill. And like, I know as an adult, I think adults, we're generally a little bit scared of trying new things and going into the unknown because there's so many things. There's comparisons, whatever. But You know, when you think about yourself down that road, being proficient in it, that's awesome. Like that's what I was thinking when I started jujitsu, when I was shit at the beginning, and those videos are still there. I was just thinking of what does 5 years down the road look like. That's what I was thinking about. And now it's still like, what does that look like 5 years down the road now? Like, ooh, that's gonna be sick.
Right.
I like where I am now, but like that's what I enjoy. You know.
You keep pursuing stuff. You keep investigating. You keep trying to make things better. Whether it's your diet, your lifting, you know, you just think. Because once you start doing something, once you have gotten started, then that's where you start to think about how do I make this a little bit better. You go to yoga once a week. You're like, I think I'm kind of getting it, but I wonder what happens if I go twice a week, or if I wonder if I try this other class. I wonder if I got some private lessons or something, because like I don't know what I'm doing in class, and like I'm slow and I'm clumsy, and it takes me too long to get to the stretches or whatever it would be. And you'll find yourself constantly leaning into that and constantly developing habits towards wanting to kind of make things better, make things more efficient. And again, you can get kind of lost in some of that, but I think that's okay to experience some of that. You continue to look at different things. For us, with our nutrition, we're always doing that. You know, we're like you said, you just added in some fruit, right? Like small stuff, you know. There's people that listen to this show where we might mention something, and who knows, for one person, just adding in fruit into their diet could simply help pull them away from wanting to indulge on other snacks or treats.
Or just the idea of getting snacks out of your diet, right? Because I used to snack a lot, but getting that out was beneficial. But yeah, you know, the fruit thing you mentioned, we had Joel Green on the other day. If you guys haven't listened to that episode.
I had those Nature Valley almond ones.
Oh, almond?
Yeah. You ever had those?
Wasn't the green one? I think I've had the almond ones. It's a sticky. It's the sticky ones, right?
I don't know if it's sticky.
The crumbly?
It's crumbly.
The green one? The green package?
Yeah,
one?
green package.
There's no almond in that. Is there almond in that?
Almond, yeah.
They made a new
green
one.
package?
I was going to send you a
asking
picture.
your permission, and Nsima, they made another one.
Interesting. I'm not going to eat it because things will get out of hand. But,
He's gonna go. Yeah.
I ate two of them last night. I was like, Nsima's right. These are fucking dope.
Yeah.
was it like the one from
The
Costco,
ones you eat
or
are
did
peanut butter?
No, these are the ones I used to eat.
Oh, those guys. No.
Crunchy ones.
Mine's like a biscuit.
Oh, wow.
His face,
I'm sorry.
his face right there was amazing.
These bring back really good memories, man. It's like these are so good.
Oh my!
It's
Show
like
me.
cinnamon, almond, something. It's like, and when I was eating it, I'm chewing it, and like you guys, like I know, like I like salt on stuff, but like these things are so salty and so sweet.
Oh
Is
my-
that it?
Yeah.
Of course,
Dude.
I would find it.
Nature Valley, they're so.
Forget what we said earlier.
Pick up
about on this
within 2
podcast.
hours.
We're just gonna have cheat meals all the time.
They have it at Target?
Mm-hmm.
It's right by my house.
How do we end up here every time?
Dude, Nature Valley needs to change
All we
its
ever
name.
do is talk about bad food on
I
here.
know.
all the time.
But that's not okay. They're the kings of false advertising because like it's healthy, but you never have just one, and they're too good. They're too good.
Where are the?
Maybe I just don't have self-control.
What's the macros breakdown? Hold on.
Well, let's see.
9 grams of fat.
That's nothing. What's the sugar? 11 grams of sugar. Ooh, Jesus.
24 grams.
24 carbs and 3
Hey,
grams
3
of
grams
protein.
guys.
All right,
It's
let's highlight
basically-
that and forget everything else.
Basically a protein bar.
So if you eat
We're
6
good.
of them, you're getting close to 20 grams of protein.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I botched the math.
It was either 20 or like 600, one of the two.
That's like 120 something grams of carbs and 54 grams of fat.
Hey, it's under 200 calories. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Man, oh God, I really want to try it now.
I'm gonna bring some of those in for you.
I'll eat it.
I just want to bring
You
up.
brought a donut this morning. What's next?
We're gonna get you up to 320 pounds, like Joel recommended.
Yeah.
Oh, never, man. Never will I ever.
It's because you're thinking too much about it.
Hey, but
you got to think less.
You should
nice
think
shirt,
less.
bro.
And there's less than 10 think less shirts in every size. Meaning, so if you wanted a large, there's like 5 left. If you wanted an XL, there's like 9 left or whatever.
There's 5XL I can order.
There's I think it only goes to 3X, and there's only like 2 of those left.
Are you sure there's not just 10 think less shirts left, or there's like 5
no,
large?
so
and
like there's
3?
let me pull it up. So like if you wanted a small, there's only 3.
Mm-hmm.
Medium, there's only 5. Large,
On
there's
what
only
website,
3.
Andrew?
This is at markbellslingshot.com.
That's good.
And links down in the description below for the Power Project Think Less shirt.
For sizing reference, I am currently wearing a 2XL. XL would be quite snug. There, I'm wearing an XL. Yes.
Jesus, look at those arms.
I know, look at that.
It's because they upped the contrast.
No,
That's why it looks so.
I didn't do shit to that.
Okay. Well,
Look at
Guy's
that.
guy's so hard. Wow.
Oh, wow. It goes bigger.
The show always turns into like dirty porn and food. Food that we shouldn't eat.
food that we shouldn't eat.
Dirty
man.
food and clean porn? No,
Is there such a thing as clean porn?
I'm sure.
Soft.
What, Mark?
Soft porn.
Softcore?
Oh yeah, softcore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where it's all like just.
And Sue was like, no, they're never soft. I don't watch those.
That's, well, hey, there's a fetish for everything.
Yeah, there probably
there
is a
has to-
fetish for
yeah,
that.
definitely.
Or is a soft, a flaccid
how do
fetish.
we- Could be an OnlyFans page.
Guys, listen.
Only stands.
What I want you guys to do is like, just if you're listening on YouTube, comment below something that you've been interested in trying to do, something new. Because I know everyone that's listening has something that they've wanted to try, but for some reason they've been giving themselves reasons why they shouldn't try it. Just write it down and let's just fucking encourage each other to just go fucking do it. Just go get it done.
Write it down. Maybe like journal about it. Like where you actually like write down the thing that you want to do. If you want to go like rock climbing, or you want to go hike, you want to do yoga, you want to take a Muay Thai class, or whatever the hell it is that you want to do, write it down and then kind of work your way backwards into how do you work your way into position to seek this out. Where are you going to go? Maybe you want to ski in the winter or snowboard, or like, just any of these things. Write down some of the ways, like where, like what city, what town, what area, where are you going to rent something from, or just once you start to kind of write it out, then you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to write down who you know that knows something about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go to a powerlifting meet. Who do you know that power lifts, or who do you know that's kind of strong? Go ask that dude. He probably knows the guy that's deadlifting the weights in the gym, making all the noise. Go fucking ask him a question. You don't think he loves talking about his deadlift? I mean, people that have money, you want to make more money. Is like, there's nothing better to do than to ask people that already make it. They'll talk to you all day long about it a lot of times because they're pumped that they were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So just, write down some of these things, and then you can write down a list of things that will kind of get you to be able to go and do these things.
Straight up, something you just mentioned made me realize, like, well, we've been talking about this, but diversifying your physical interests. Like when I used to think about, like, will I enjoy just doing squat benching and deadlifting when I'm 60? Like, if that's the only thing I'm focused on, will I be able to enjoy this for decades? Even in the gym, because like when it comes to bodybuilding, there's like a focus on body parts. Like, am I going to enjoy, like, what aspects of this am I going to enjoy? That's why I started like diversifying my physical things like even like longboarding. I bought a longboard because I was like, that looks so cool to be able to do again. I'd like to learn how to do that. And I longboard with my dog. He pulls and shit.
Look at how
and
much fun you had hopping on that thing that Ryan has.
yeah, that one wheel.
Oh, yeah. How is that?
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
It's super sick. I want to get a one wheel. I'll get it in a few months. maybe next
Why
6
not find something fun like that? It's like a
Snowboarding.
toy. It's like you're like a little kid.
Yeah. Even snowboarding. I
It's
want
an
to learn
activity.
how to snowboard. Yeah. Snowboarding, surfing, all these things, honestly, people can, like some people, you live close to water or whatever, but there are definitely things that a lot of us want to do outside physically. Think of those physical things, because you want to diversify so that you have a lot of options of things that are enjoyable. And not only that, but number two, it gives you opportunities to meet different people and form connections with different people within different realms. And that will, the jiu-jitsu community, like that I'm a part of now, super dope people, right? But there are other things too. Andrew, what the fuck
What
you
is
doing, man?
this? They have almond butter cups too?
Wow, that reminds me of
I'm
the creme
sorry.
brulee we were just talking about.
I was gonna close the window and then this popped up and I was like, oh.
Nature Valley, please hit up Andrew Z at markbellslingshot.com and sponsor this podcast.
Okay.
I need to- I'm gonna
I didn't
go-
mean to derail you. My bad. It's just, I mean, how can you?
You didn't derail me, but I'm gonna go do something. Be right back.
New recipe, tasty and creamy.
Damn, poop again?
No.
Is that donut's coming back? I mean, if I had the opportunity, can you
Where did he go?
Can you just walk off like that? Is that
I don't know.
in his contract where he has an out where he can just leave?
Oh, hey, you know what? You're the only other person to be excited about this. Well, maybe a couple other people be excited about this.
Mm.
I'm going to the Niners game on the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Against the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
He revved up my appetite, so I have to drink another protein shake.
Is that a strawberry?
Strawberry.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're playing the.
Man, you got so hungry.
It's the home opener.
You're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
fucking
soccer.
sick.
Sorry,
Uh,
joking. Football,
American
American
football.
football.
Mm-hmm.
Americano.
Okay, well,
Fake-
I'll
fake.
shut my mouth now.
Fake football. Yeah. Yeah, Packers, Niners should be pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I'm going with Andy. We're going. It's a Sunday night game, I think.
Yeah, because it's our opener, so it should be late.
Whenever I hear about stuff you all do, I'm just like, oh, this is so cute.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun together. Yep.
Oh man, shit! You guys ain't, man. You're not leaving Santa Clara till like 8, 9 o'clock.
That was a
Fuck.
late game.
Yeah, it's at kickoff.
I think we have
5:20.
I think we're staying like next to the. We're staying overnight.
Oh, good call.
It's because like it's really good. The strawberry, huh?
House strawberry core power.
Make you sick like strawberry quick.
This reminds me of the Nesquik. I used to drink a lot of
strawberry.
strawberry
Why is that
Nesquik
so
and
good?
chocolate
It's so-
Nesquik when I was a kid. This is just like the strawberry
Yeah,
Nesquik.
core power.
Core power, 42 grams of protein,
Man, thanks, Ron.
Why is
8
core
grams
power?
of
he said, he said, thanks, Ron.
Oh yeah.
Ron with the hookup. He's our
Ron-
plug.
Ron the plug.
8 grams of carbs, 3.5 grams of fat. Guys, this is amazing.
Hey, when you buy your core power, just make sure it doesn't say core power performance on it. I got screwed. I bought a bunch of them and it had like 21 grams of sugar or something.
Oh, really? I wonder what.
I don't know why it looks. They all look the same too.
This
They
only
do.
has 7 grams of sugar.
Yeah. No, they usually don't have hardly any carbohydrates in them. They
7
make a bunch of different kinds. They have 26 grams of protein in them. Sometimes they have 30 grams of protein. And they normally have like under 10 grams of carbohydrates in them.
Mhm.
Like one of them, I think, only
Okay.
has 4 grams of carbohydrates.
So yeah, this one right here.
Lactose free too.
Yeah, this one's 150 calories with
That's really good.
So good.
2.5 grams of fat, and this is the one that only has 4 carbs, 1 sugar or 2 sugars, and then 30 grams of protein. So what the fuck? Yeah, this one just says high quality protein.
Preaching to people to not be meatheads as we suck down our protein shakes. All day.
Protein.
don't be power lifters. And we had donuts in the first one.
But you know, I mean, this reminds me of like Nick Bear, you know? Nick Bear, yourself, Bart Kwan. I see like those kinds of people, and they're going to be doing this forever. Bart knows how to swim. Bart knows martial arts. Bart's strong. When he wants to, he can be as jacked as he wants to be, and he is jacked even when he's not super lean, right? Nick's over here running, strong, jacked as hell. Like, you can. There's so many interests give you so many options as you get older. That's the thing. You don't want to be the guy who's like, well, you know what? I don't want to take away from those people who do have that one interest, and it 70 years old, they're still doing bodybuilding competitions. That's admirable in and of itself. That is. But I would think that most people would enjoy more things, right? Would enjoy having other things that they have as much vigor for than just that one thing. And if you can do that, then this whole fitness lifestyle will be easy for you. I feel like it makes it easy.
Well, we see a lot of people as they get older, things are sometimes a little bit more difficult. Their activity level goes down. Maybe they retire from their job and maybe they have less overall activity. So maybe it's harder for them to keep body fat at bay, and maybe it's harder for them to hold like muscle mass as they get older. But if you have disciplines, like you already kind of like to lift, you like to walk, you like to hike, you are somebody that likes activity, it's something that can kind of keep you healthy all the time, regardless of like where you're at in your life. I think for me, walking has been huge, and like walking just seems so like such an old person thing to do. It's like doesn't seem fun or cool. And you know, if somebody was trying to tell me about it and I was like 20, I'd probably be like what? Like why? Like why? But now I understand the value of it, you know, getting outside, getting vitamin D. I mean, just going out in nature seems to be really just massively important to people. Getting away from, you know, just get away from your day for 10 or 20 minutes at a time can be really useful. You can take that time to decompress and to think about other things. Maybe you've been kind of locked in an office all day thinking about work, and maybe you don't really love that work. Well, now you have an opportunity to go outside, think of something different for a little while, get outside, get in nature. I just think these are all really good, healthy practices. And I also think it's really important for people to diversify and open up where they get their knowledge from, you know, to have multiple, like, you know, you hear sometimes people say multiple revenue streams. I think I heard the other day, like the average millionaire has like 5 or more revenue streams or something. I don't know where I heard that, but like, anyway, I would also say that like your average successful person probably has multiple knowledge streams. Like they probably have a lot of different places where they're getting some of their information from. They didn't just learn something from mom or dad. They didn't just learn something from a book. They probably, maybe they went to school for a little while. Maybe they read, you know, a handful of different books in some different areas, or maybe they listen to audiobooks or whatever it is, whatever your flavor is. But you want to try to learn from as many different people and as many different things as you can. I think what happens sometimes, I know that I've been guilty of this. Sometimes I kind of like, I might not like somebody for a particular, whatever particular stupid reason, just because of old belief systems or whatever. Somebody just annoys you, rubs you the wrong way. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. And for some reason, you kind of shut down the fact that that person still has valuable information. And it's really kind of foolish if you think about it, because it's like, I mean, if you don't like the person, it actually makes even more sense to kind of like take some of the stuff from them and utilize it almost to your advantage. But anyway, there's so many different people you can learn from. You can learn from somebody that like barely knows what they're talking about in certain subjects, because sometimes that mind or that question that person asks is so elementary that you forget how important that kind of base thing is. And other times there could be somebody who's on an expert level that you can learn from. I mean, that's been the real fortune of this podcast, has been, you know, rubbing elbows with some real savages and rubbing elbows with some people that really are super knowledgeable in a wide variety of things.
And on top of that, man, an uncomfortable thing that I would suggest everybody in the audience do is not only should you diversify where you're getting your information, which is good because you'll be able to try new things, learn new things, apply new things, see what works, see what doesn't, but purposefully try to befriend and talk to people with views that are opposite of yours, whether that be politically, whether that be like as far as society is concerned, views, religion. Do that. And I found that to be one of the most fruitful things for myself. And it's led to some of my most enjoyable conversations. Because number one, we're like, if you can find somebody who can civilly talk to you about things, because on the internet, everybody's just yelling at everybody once you find something you disagree about. But I have a lot of friends that we have opposite political opinions or opposite social opinions, and we have talks about these things, but I plug some of their holes in the things that they're talking about, and they plug some of my holes in the things that I'm talking about. It sounds weird. Let me phrase this better. They poke holes in my ideas, and I can either cement or change my mind about things, which is great when I change my mind and I learn something new, and I have a different point of view because I learned something new, and I poke holes in some of their things and make them think and make them change their mind and expand their view about things. But we have totally different spectrums. And I think a lot of people purposefully only have friends and people that believe all the same things they do, and then they're always like, well, I'm right about this because my whole social media feed and everyone around me tells me I'm right. That's dangerous. And that'll just have you going down the same route for the rest of your life without understanding why this side believes what they believe.
On the walk that I did yesterday, I invited people to come and walk, and there was a couple of takers. A couple of people walked with me throughout the day. You came and walked with me for a large part of the day. But in the morning, one of the guys that met me at 4:30 in the morning was a ICU doctor, intensive care doctor. Man, I talked to that guy for like 4 or 5 hours straight. Like, we just kept going back and forth on stuff. I asked him about every single thing that's banned to say on YouTube that you can think of. It was incredible. We had such good conversation back and forth, and I was really asking him what I felt were like kind of like tough questions, but good, honest questions from an outsider that's not in the hospital. And I was like, do you really believe that or think that? And is that because the people around you believe that and think that? Or is this really what you're seeing? And he kind of kept saying, because he's a doctor, he did a great job of saying, like, this is my experience. This is what I'm seeing. They may be seeing something else in different hospitals, but this is what and it was amazing. We went back and forth the whole time, and neither one of us were really caring about like any sort of political stuff. We were just sticking to his experiences, not necessarily facts, but they were things that he has seen enough of to where he's starting to recognize them as things that he would put in the category of being things that he knows enough about to where he could say, I believe that this is to be true. You know, it's hard to say anything is like a real fact, especially when it comes to like medicine. But it was great. Like you said, it was great conversation. And why not? You know, why not have conversation with people that have kind of opposing views? I mean, it opens up your mind, and you're like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
And one big thing I notice with a lot of this is that a lot of people have assumptions about the way an individual is because of the personal belief that they have. So they're not even willing to have a conversation because of their assumption about, you're this, you're probably a racist. When that's not true. You just need to try to understand, why do they believe what they believe? And you talk to them, you understand their logic, you understand where they're coming from, and then you can understand why they believe that. And then you can really dig deep on both sides. But if you don't, then you're just running with these false assumptions about somebody. That's not the case. You know, that's why we're in such a weird place right now.
Some of the things that we think ahead of time are they're inaccurate. You know, the things that it's the reason why you're probably not going to that yoga class. It's the reason why you haven't embarked on that diet. You haven't purchased that book or gone to that seminar or started that podcast that you've been thinking about doing for so long, because you have a negative interpretation of what you think could potentially happen. And I think these are reasonable things to protect yourself from. Yeah, like, I could be ridiculed. Like, I don't like that. I don't like being made fun of. That sounds reasonable to me. Like, yeah, who wants to be made a fool of, right? But what about the opposite of that? What about, like, I bet you I'm going to go to that jujitsu class and, like, I might look kind of dumb. I might look kind of silly. Maybe there are a couple people there that might laugh at me, but I bet you there'll be a bunch of people there that want to help me too.
Yeah.
Because they're going to remember what it's like to be new. I bet you I'm going to have a really good workout. I bet you I'm going to sweat pretty good. Then there's the other side of you going, I might twist my ankle, right? I might, but again, you can kind of think of some of the other side of it. I bet my ankles, my knees, my elbows are going to get used to it over time. I bet that if I was to fall randomly off of my bike or onto the sidewalk, and I've been doing jujitsu for a couple of years, that I'll be a little stronger to block my fall. You know, like, you can kind of start to, you know, for every negative thing that you throw out, you don't have to completely block those things. I think they're legitimate things. Oh, I'm going to go into a room full of women that have been doing yoga for 10 years, and I'm going to try to do this class, and, you know, you're not going to stick out like a sore thumb. I think those are reasonable things to think of, but you also need to probably be in recognition of, I bet you there'll be a lot of people there are going to be super nice to me that are going to want to help me.
Yeah. That's just that's the positive outlet to have. Like an example is like jujitsu schools, man. At Casio school specifically, if there is somebody that's like a dick, they're weeded out. Like they are quickly reprimanded. They are quickly taught a lesson. You don't act that way with people. You know, those people don't stay around long, right? I think that's probably how it is with a lot of places. Like you'd be surprised. You'll go into places. A lot of people are going to want to help. They're gonna want to. They see someone who's a beginner. Like a lot of people,
It's difficult and rare to have a real hardcore ego in a place like that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, so you may experience this with like a power lifter. You could potentially experience this with a bodybuilder. But most of the time when somebody is high level, they have gone through so much shit that they are usually pretty kind. They are normally pretty calm, you know, under normal circumstances. But when you're talking about something that's physical, like wrestling or jujitsu or boxing, like where there's contact, it's kind of hard to be an asshole when there's other people in the class that can serve shit up to you every single day and just destroy you. It's you know, and by the time you become the best person in the room, it would be most likely that most of that ego and most of those things have been eroded away by you understanding that you don't really know anything. That's how you learned it all in the first place. If you held on to this ego, and it would be very hard for you to learn.
Yeah.
And if you were just trying, like for you, if you were trying just to muscle people and just to hurt people all the time, it would be really hard for you to advance, or no one would even want to help you.
Nope.
And even now in the position that you're in, no one would want to roll with you. No one would want to do anything. Like they just, there's, I don't know if anyone's listened to Jordan Peterson talk about these rat studies where the mice were like playing with each other. Well, there's a certain, if you play with like a 7-year-old kid, you play basketball with him, and you just swap the ball as hard as you can every single time that he goes to shoot it, he's not going to want to play with you.
Yeah.
You know, and in these rat studies, it's like the rats have to be a little comparable. Like the bigger rat has to let the other rat win sometimes and get the cheese or whatever it was they were studying. And so that's, you're not going to face this resistance that you're thinking that you're going to face when you go into this gym or this facility, because it's most likely these people don't have the egos that you are building up in your own head, because you're thinking, if I could kick everyone's ass, I would go up to that guy and I would tell him that I could kick his ass. But no, once you have that ability, I think it's the last thing on your mind.
I just realized, I don't know, I guess I never really thought about this, but a majority of people that haven't gone, like let's say they haven't really gone into a powerlifting gym, they haven't gone into a jiu-jitsu class or whatever, they have assumptions, and these assumptions are based off of like assumptions they have about people that do those things, and TV, Disney Channel shit, you know, like you think about gym class, like
Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Like you think people are in there just fucking punching and like doing shit, and that's not how it is at all.
When I was a kid, that's what I thought it was.
Me too.
I'd be like, damn, I don't want to go do that.
No, dude, me too. I was like,
wait,
wait,
I have beef with the dojo down the street.
right?
Like, I thought gangs were bad. Now these are gangs that know how to fight. No,
But
thank
that's
you.
real. Like people like that's not the way it is. When you get in, you realize how chill this stuff really is, and just how relaxed and how like, yeah, it's just, it's nice, it's chill, it's community, it's great.
I love it. Andrew, want to take us out of here, buddy?
I will. Thank you, everybody, for checking out today's episode. Everyone on the live chat, you guys are freaking awesome. We've had a lot of really cool success stories. I'm not going to be able to get to any of them except for Bob234 said he's lost 35 pounds this year while getting stronger.
Woo!
This show has been a big help. So shout out to you, Bob. Really appreciate you sharing that, and keep crushing it, dude. Thank you to 8 Sleep for sponsoring today's episode. Again, 8sleep.com/Power Project for $150 off your Pod Pro cover and Pod Pro cover and mattress bundle. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. Please follow the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. My Instagram and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z, and I've been sharing some biomechanic stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, go follow me there, and at the Andrew Z on TikTok. And Nsima, where you at?
Hey guys, real talk. Go check out, go to that Ape Sleep link and go check out the technology behind it. Because we talk about sleep a lot. Sleep is a big fucking deal for your recovery, for your muscle gain, for everything. And if you're not getting good quality sleep, you are shooting yourself in the foot. So go to that link after this show and check it out. My Instagram is at Nsima Inyang and TikTok is at Nsima Yin Yang. Mark?
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell, and don't forget we have a seminar coming up with. It's just going to go out before that.
Yeah, no, this will be out. Yeah, a couple days, 2 days.
We got a seminar coming up with CT Fletcher on Saturday. It starts at noon, and we are fired up and excited to have CT Fletcher in the house. We're going to be doing like a podcast interview with him, as well as he'll be doing like an in-gym kind of seminar, yell at you type thing, along with some open gym stuff.
It should be awesome.
It should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
I'm pumped.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness never is strength. I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Catch you guys later.